I am Captain Trips, and tonight we're going to be making a shield out of a disc sled, some Eva foam floor mats, a large roll of Eva foam, some camp pad foam, Gorilla Glue, contact cement, Plasti-Dip, a hot glue gun, a heat gun. If you don't have a heat gun, you can use the burners on your stove. Just be careful and don't destroy your stove. We're also using a knife, measuring stick, marking utensils, as well as some PVC. Okay, so the first step in building your shield is to make the shield core and attach to the handle. You're going to need your shield core, PVC, Gorilla Glue, a knife, tin snips, a hacksaw, heat gun, and then I also use that wooden block right there. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is cut this disc shield to size. I took my box cutter and I just scored a line along this outermost ring. And now I'm taking the tin snips. I cut a little bit away here and then I just started working my way in, and I'm just gonna spiral out and along here. The scoring is actually really important because sometimes the tin snips will just cause this plastic to kind of fracture, and if that happens, you're gonna want it along this scoring line as opposed to just whichever direction it wants to go in. So here I have the disc all cut out, and I use tin snips. They're probably the best tool for this job. They're pretty cheap. Go pick up a pair. They're awesome. Alright, so here's the bowl I'm going to be using to make the shield bosses. And I'm just going to take this center, put it down here, figure out where it goes along. I'm not going to, if your shield core you're using doesn't have these rings, mark it down, cut along there. I'm just going to cut along right along this this ring right here. Alright, so here's the sled core. It's got center cut out, sides cut off. We got a nice little, it's actually a pretty solid base. And alright. Alright, so I really despise cutting PVC because I have a really crappy hacksaw that I can't actually buy blades for. So I've been using the same dull hacksaw blade. And basically I just rub it back and forth on the PVC, and then it heats up and it melts the PVC, and I'm not really cutting anything. So it's a lot of work, a little out of breath. Alright, so this step's pretty optional, but I think it makes it look really nice. You mark where the PVC is going to go on your shield for the handle, and then you put a mark where the end of the shield is, and then I put a mark, I just use the space of my thumb, kinda, that's where I stop heating the PVC. And then I use the heat gun, heat the PVC. Alright, so that's what it looks like, and like I said, you can either have it face down on the shield like this, or give you a nice flush, or face up, where it'll be coming up a little bit. So whichever your preference is. Alright, so we're going to use our Gorilla Glue to attach the handle to our shield core, and then we're going to use these clamps to let it harden overnight. Cool thing about Gorilla Glue is it expands like 3 times its size, so even if this is a little off, and there's some little gaps in between the core and doesn't lie completely flush, it'll actually expand in and still lock it tight. Alright, so I got it all clamped up. If you don't have fancy clamps, you can just use two heavy objects to keep it on there. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You're going to get a better bond the better clamps you use, but if you don't have it, you don't have it. Alright, for part 2, for making our shield boss, we're going to need a bowl to press the boss in, weldwood contact cement, a heat gun, a knife to trim, and a pen for marking. And then you're also going to need the 2 sheets of foam you're going to be using to make the boss. Alright, so I just took the bowl I'm going to use to make the shield bosses. I put it on my sheet of foam, and I just cut with an extra 1.5 inches. As you can see, these aren't perfect circles. You don't have to worry about this at that point. Just get the rough shape, give yourself enough excess that it's going to fit into the bowls. Alright, so now I'm going to use my heat gun, heat up the foam, and then press it into the bowl. Alright, so this is nice and soft, and I'm going to take the first one, and I'm just going to use my fist, and just kind of work it in there, make sure there aren't any of these big chunks coming in, like that. So I find using my knee is the best way to do this because it stops it from kind of folding in on itself. Alright, now I'm going to do the same thing with this piece, except I'm going to have the grain going, this part, going to be the opposite way of where it was on the original piece. Alright, so I'm going to be applying DAP to both sides of the interior of these, and then I'm going to press the outside piece back into the bowl, and then heat this piece up again and press that inside of this piece, and then press it there for probably a good 15 minutes so it sets in there. And I'm wearing the glove because 1, you don't want to get DAP on your fingers, and 2, these are probably the best way to spread DAP over large areas. When you're using DAP over small areas, I always use scrap foam because then you're not wasting money on brushes. But for large areas, just throw a glove on, just reach right in there, get a handful, and spread it around. Sorry, I'm doing this upside down with my camera viewfinder to see what's in view, and it's difficult. I can play the piano. Alright, so now we've just coated both of these pieces of foam in a flammable substance, and we're going to be using a heat gun on them. So there is a fire risk on this, and make sure you have excellent ventilation from fumes. Oh, and foam itself is pretty flammable once you get it ignited, by the way. Oh god. Alright, so I have the basic shape of my boss cut out, and I'm just going to take this and keep it at a, I guess 90-degree angle, let's say, with the bowl, with the lip of the bowl, and I'm just going to cut along, keeping it nice and level, and we'll take it out of here and see how it looks. Alright, so we got it all nice and trim. I'm going to wait an hour or so until this is all nice and dry. Then I'm going to take it over the belt sander, get everything nice and flush, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so here's our completed shield core and shield boss. The shield core is once again just that circular sled, cut to size. a piece of PVC with did some heated and shaping on it, so it looks nice. And then our shield boss. And now this boss looks pretty small, but you gotta remember it's gonna be sitting on 2 layers of foam. So it's not like your hand's gonna be in it, your hand's gonna be way out here, so it'll be pretty good. Alright, so tune in next time. We're going to be doing the layers of foam for the actual shield, and then we're going to get and do some fun wood grain and plastic and painting and whatnot.